almost like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized system.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Flashpoint Radio. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Jay-Z. It is Monday, April 30th, 2012, the last day of April. Pre-May Day celebrations for all us capitalists, or free market capitalists, not crony capitalists. Yes, tomorrow is May 1st, the day that labor organizations, labor unions, Occupy protesters, communists, socialists, and all people against free market capitalism and against the free enterprise system and against prosperity get together and get angry about people who actually run a business and who actually provide a good and service that actually has a demand for it. People that actually subscribe to the supply and demand model of the market. But yes, tomorrow we will see what will come. We've got a few headlines about that from CNS News. Occupy promises biggest shutdown the city of New York has ever seen. Blockade of San Francisco. The Occupy, the national Occupy movement, if you want to even call it a movement anymore, as much of a sideshow, has decided that wherever there are unions that are protesting, wherever there are unions who are having walkouts or general strikes, they will support them. They will shut down industry. They will shut down bridges, overpasses, and all modes of transportation they can find. In New York, as they said, they want to create the biggest shutdown they have ever seen. They are announcing these blockades now as fair warning to the rest of the working people of New York and New Jersey who are considering joining the strikes and mobilizations of the days. The city will be shut down, so enjoy the day without the 99%, warned the site. Well, when you look at percentages, as they like to, with the 99%, it becomes a little bit of a muddied picture. Considering that from Wikipedia, we see that in the United States, only 11.4% of the total workforce can be described as part of a labor union. Only 7% can be described that way from the private sector. The rest coming from public sector unions, which are completely unconstitutional and illegal. But hey, what can you say? We're American. We have freedom of speech, and they should be allowed to espouse their beliefs of letting lazy people do less work for the same amount of money that hardworking people do, or having union bosses that hire as many lazy people as possible, because the more people that work on something, the more union dues they get. They don't want you to be productive. They don't want you to do a good job in the shortest amount of time. They don't want you to churn out products. They want you to take as much time as possible, require as much labor as possible, because every new employee is a new union due. But this is what they do. They think if you work at a place for long enough, you deserve raises. The longer you work there, you deserve raises. They equate time with productivity. The job stays the same, the production stays the same, the output stays the same, but since you've been there, since you've stood in the same place for so long, you deserve a raise. No matter how the economy goes, no matter how everyone else's economy goes, no matter how many other private employees lose their jobs or businesses go out of business because of labor union strikes, you deserve more simply for being there. Being there a certain amount of time earns you more money in the labor union United States. Well, I say no. I say read Ludwig von Mises, read the Austrian theory of economics, because it is not what we live under. And if you call this country capitalist, you are insane. We are not a capitalist nation, and we have not been since 1913. We are crony capitalism, where corporations conspire with the government to keep middle-class people down and to keep new businesses from forming. And we will look at how corporations get in bed with government in our next round of stories on Flashpoint Radio. Remember, description below holds all of the links to all of the stories covered here on Flashpoint Radio. Do your own research, find out for yourself. This from CNBC, flea market raid, Homeland Security cracks down on counterfeit goods. In South Baltimore, ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, and Department of Homeland Security completed a 2.5-year investigation of one flea market in Baltimore. One Brandon Long, a flea market vendor, said, quote, "They hit the doors, they bum rush the doors, say about 10 agents to each door, and they just took everything." Of course, the Homeland Security officials said they did not take everything. They only took what was unlicensed, or what appeared to be unlicensed. But what specifically was counterfeited, agents won't say. And let's see, why would this be a bad thing? I mean, these people are selling counterfeit goods under cost or under the market value. Well, if you go and you buy a $20 pair of Air Jordans, do you really think you're getting an actual pair of Air Jordans? Or is it just a separate underground economy that really doesn't steal money from Nike? But Under Armour, a company out of Baltimore, said, quote, "Under Armour is passionate about protecting our trademark and intellectual property and applauds the support of Homeland Security investigations." Of course, because Homeland Security, the federal government, is now enforcing what I believe private companies should be doing. If you're getting ripped off by people stealing your intellectual property and you're a giant corporation, why don't you do the investigation? Why don't you sue these people personally? Why don't you send your people down to the flea market in Baltimore, take some video, and take them to court civilly? No, you have to use taxpayer dollars of people who don't give a rat's about counterfeit merchandise. I don't care if someone wants to buy a fake Louis Vuitton purse. I just don't care. If Louis Vuitton wants to sue the people selling that purse, fine, go for it. Don't take my tax dollars to protect that. Because guess what? I'd like to see the federal government protect a small business or an entrepreneur or an inventor who's had their ideas stolen from a giant corporation. I'd like to see the federal government step in and work a 2.5-year investigation to do that. Now, they probably won't, because guess what? Startup businesses can't afford lobbyists. And without lobbyists, you can't get your dollars into the pockets of the politicians. Well, this is how it goes. And could this little nugget from the CNBC article be the reason they perform this raid, or they are cracking down nationwide, which they say the budget has ballooned in 2012 to $43.2 billion. Increase. No, I'm sorry. The Homeland Security got a $43.2 billion increase in its budget to crack down on intellectual property. But this is the best part about it. One line at the bottom of this article about the flea market: much of the sale of counterfeit goods is handled in cash, allowing the business to avoid taxes. Could it be that no matter if it's counterfeit, actual property that you made yourself, household goods that you're simply selling because you don't want them anymore, could it be the fact that you're accepting cash for that transaction and the government doesn't get to skim off the top, doesn't get to take out their little bit? Could that be the reason they're cracking down on this? Could it have nothing to do with intellectual property? They don't care. They just want a piece of the pie because it's mafia government. The mafia didn't care what you did in Chicago or New York as long as you were paying them their protection fee. So this is the protection fee. But unfortunately, $43.2 billion, an increase in their budget, came from us. And are they protecting us? No, they're protecting corporations. Are you a corporation? No, you're a sovereign. Remember that. Moving right along to a story from yesterday out of the Washington Times. This one is a bit scary. FDA may let patients buy drugs without prescriptions. Move would increase patients' out-of-pocket costs. Well, they're saying that now they may move to let people buy high blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, cholesterol-lowering medication, migraine medication, asthma and allergy medication without a prescription over the counter. Well, I thought we can't even buy Allegra over the counter or Claritin anymore because meth heads will use it. Well, maybe pharmaceutical companies aren't making quite enough money. And so they've lobbied the FDA to allow people to buy over the counter their poisons. I can't, or anyone else can't grow, say, cannabis in their backyard because it's illegal. Not only can we not do it without a prescription in states like California and Colorado, but it's illegal everywhere else. But we can now go get chemicals and put them in our body without getting any prior recommendation from a physician. Physicians obviously up in arms over this, but pharmacists love it, as do the pharmaceutical company. But remember, when the healthcare law was passed, Obamacare, your health savings care account that was originally set up so you could spend your tax-free money, your tax-free benefits from your business, from your job on health products over the counter and prescription now stated that you can't buy those without a prescription. Your health savings account doesn't go for Tylenol or allergy medication or Band-Aids or things that you buy at the grocery store that help you health-wise. No, you have to get a prescription. But now the government's saying pharmaceutical companies can sell their products over the counter, straight to the consumer. Could it be that when you buy things through the insurance company, you go and you pay your $15 copay, $10 copay for your generics? There's no taxes involved in that. Are there? I don't know. But there's taxes when you buy Claritin. There's taxes when you buy Tylenol. There's taxes when you buy Q-tips. So maybe the government says, yeah, sure, why not? We'll let them sell cholesterol-lowering medication that will interact negatively with other people, with people's other medication that will possibly kill them. But hey, at least we get to collect our, sales tax off the top, local, state, county, federal tax off the top, because, they can't allow any commerce to go on without them taking it from you. God forbid we do private sales between private people without the government getting in our business. God forbid we go to garage sales and buy used products instead of everything new. God forbid we sell guns to each other privately with cash without the knowledge of the government. God forbid we exercise our constitutional rights to keep the government out of our business. Because that's what this is all about, and that's what Flashpoint Radio is about. Getting you to look at what the government is actually doing to you, what they actually wish to do to you, and how you can stop it. And you can stop it simply by waking up and saying, no, this is really happening. Simply by stating to your friends and your family that this is reality, that you cannot run from reality anymore, that the government is getting into everyone's business, and they will be knocking on your front door or at your business soon. Look for them. They'll probably be wearing a badge and bulletproof vest and automatic weapons, because that is how they raid dairy farms these days, or dairy co-ops. I'm sorry, not dairy farms, but co-ops where people do private sales between each other. Jay-Z saying, this is America, you've gotta love it. Join a labor union, you'll get paid forever till you die, more and more and more. I joke, but God bless. Keep your eyes to the sky and check me back on Flashpoint Radio tomorrow.
Well, if you're looking for trouble,